Surely Purdy can do what she wants.
Not what she's trying for my baby. You see, she's under a strict health regime at the moment and needs very little persuasion to falter.
And that was me thinking you were jealous.
Gray's not the type. Are you, darling?
You're a lucky woman.
What are you doing here?
You forgot your diary. Are you going to buy me a drink for my trouble? Tonic water, obviously.
Better still, why don't we go for lunch at the Woolly? My treat.
Treat. Woolly. Now, there's an oxymoron. I'll follow you.
You were checking up on him. If you're that worried that he's got another woman, you need to come out and confront him.
The shampoo should clear up Conrad's unwanted guests, Mrs. Dacre. Just try and keep him well away from Abel, Mungo, Flora, Dora and Snitch. Thank you.
Hey, that woman's never in here with the same animal twice. A mouse must honk.
Joe, I'd like you to take an early lunch. Myself and Paddy need to talk.
God bless the gays. Flutter their lashes and think every woman of a certain age will be putty in their palms. Well, not this one.
What do you think you're doing?
You're sleeping with my husband. And you'll stop, unless you want to make the worst enemy a boy could ever have.
Your husband wouldn't get me stirring if he was the only gay in the Vale of York. Aren't females supposed to be more in tune with the subtleties of sex?
You're not giving me any reason to believe you. You clearly know about Grayson.
I know. And I couldn't care less. It's nothing to do with me.
Now, what about that night before Christmas?
Oh, my idea of romance. Rescuing my date from a mugging and then stopping his bleeding with a wad of wet toilet roll.
I know what he was up to. What he's managed to keep from me is the exact nature of your involvement. Do things really get going after you've been out on the prowl together?
I've hardly said more than 2 words to that man since I told him how appallingly he was treating you.
You're a bigger liar than he is.
I don't need to make a fool of you. You're doing a good enough job of it on your own. And I'd hazard a guess that it started on your wedding night.
You know nothing about my marriage.
I've been dragged around the edges of it enough to see that it isn't working. It's the age-old and frankly quite pathetic story. The woman who decides that the only cure a queer needs is a rapturous dose of what she has to offer, and you thought you'd be the one to change him.
No, I never wanted to change him. Being who he was made him the man I fell in love with. He was the one that wanted to change. Gray told me he never thought he was capable of feeling for anyone what he felt for me, let alone a woman. I turned his world round.
You knew a relationship with him might be tricky.
I think I've said enough already.
Well, I'm willing to listen if it helps.
I've managed on my own in the past, and I'll carry on coping.
It's just a chance to let off some steam. I think you deserve to grab it.
Seems disloyal talking like this.
And Gray's behaviour isn't?
I resisted for a long time. Gray finally convinced me that I was all he wanted in his future. He'd never deny his past, but he'd leave it where it was.
And you believed him?
No, of course not. But I decided the odd lapse wouldn't be an issue. Gray and I are soulmates. But now that's not enough for him. I desperately miss who we were.
He made it clear to me that he thinks the world of you. Surely, if you love each other...
I'm worried that he might be trying to punish me.
Why would he do that?
I think you've had sufficient ear-bending for one afternoon.
It's good for the soul. I certainly can't understand the life that either of you have chosen. But I'm willing to try, if you want to talk again.
I appreciate that.
Well, you finally bagged yourself a winner.
You and Purdy are destroying each other.
Me and Purdy have an agreement, although that's no concern of yours.
Well, then you're stretching the boundaries of it out of all proportion. I'm sure there are reasons why a gay man might choose...
You'd accept, of course. If pride really did come before a fall, that woman would never get up off the ground.
Right, you working? Can I have another glass of Merlot?
I really need a word with you first, in private. Okay?
There's nothing I need to hear from you that has to be said in private.
To get married, but if you ever had any, you've lost sight of them. Do you realise the state you've got Purdy into?
I don't need to hear this.
And what's worse is you're lying to yourself more than anyone else.
Thank you. Diane.
We landladies have heard far worse.
I'm sorry.
Doesn't sound like I'm the one you should be saying sorry to. And don't even think of asking me not to tell anyone. That would be an insult you'd never find a way of apologising for.
Things can only get worse. I can kiss goodbye to any sort of glamour work.
But does the doctor think your health's at risk?
Well, she said I should strongly consider surgery. I mean, they might find there's nothing wrong, but the only way they'll know is by whipping the implants out.
I don't believe you shared intimate details with a virtual stranger.
Well, you confided in Paul. Why is it when I do I'm suddenly the villain?
Because your encounter with him arose from your ridiculous suspicion.
Ah, well, we all know how yours arose, so it's hardly surprising if I'm suspicious.
Look, haven't we dealt with that? The fact is that you still don't trust me. Checking my phone, and now the diary incident this morning, which we all know you engineered.
Well, what else am I supposed to do?
Try talking to me.
What, and hear nothing but a pack of lies?
You've always understood what you're taking on. If I ever lie to you, it's to protect you.
Well, I shouldn't need protecting like that. When we married, you promised to be faithful. I have spent years refining what faithful means. I've proved my love to you by cutting you plenty of slack.
Then what's changed?
You have. Every day I find myself wondering if your promises mean anything.
Well, I feel the same. I've given up kidding myself that you're ever going to fulfill your promise to me.
How dare you?
To discover I could sire children was something of a minor miracle. It was therefore a cruel twist of fate when I found out the only person I could do that with can't manage to hang on to any of them. Thank you.
Well, dig out your rod next tonight. We're off fishing with Nick Hancock and his aspiring anglers. Then following the Fortune £1 million giveaway, 7 becomes 6 in Soapstar Superstar. That's live at 9. Go on, keep it STV.